We didn't want that. We did not want that. All right. So look. So I'm going to take some time on this one real quick. We're going to take a look. And let me come off mute. Let's go back to the screen. Let's see what she's talking about here. Let's refresh it. Okay, so it says they don't want you to know this, but the trial, that's not where you win. So it says when before trial, the court's secret judges, hope you never learn. You don't have to wait for trial to fight your case. Judges don't want you to know this, but everything you can do at trial, you can do before trial. Submit evidence, file your witness list, present documents, ask questions. Don't wait until it's too late. All right. So let's see what. In short, the real battle is before trial. That's where cases are won or lost. Know the rules, make your move early, and stay ahead of the game. All right. So let me show you something real quick. Let me show you an example. I'm gonna let me share my whole screen so I can show you exactly what she's talking about. I told you we as we get forward, we're gonna be doing some show and tell. You feel me? Let me show you something. Let me show you something. Let's do the whole entire screen. You know, I listen to myself, I play back and listen to myself talking. I'm like, man, you just be saying a lot of stuff. You gotta take your time with the people. Peace, mama love. How you doing, sister? How you doing? First time here that I've noticed, I think. Yeah, hit the share, post it on your channel. Hit the thumb if you feel like it. We on prescribe, not subscribe. You know what I mean? All right, so we're gonna do right here. Let me remove this. All right. Let me share my screen. Let's get into what we're going to do right here. Let me hide the vertical. The thing is bothering me. All right, so what I'm doing, I'm going to show you something. It's like Fire Marshal Bill. Let me show you something. I'm going to show you what it looks like. So now people will say, well, we ain't showing nothing. Well, so what? Who cares? But I'm going to show you some things. Can't show you everything, you know. A lot of information, you know. So gotta be patient with knowing things. But pretty soon we're going to you know, have some, you know, some little brief little seminars, workshops, so you guys be able to kind of see the function of things, how it works in court. I'm about to come down here. I'm gonna do this because I just finished this one up. Boom. All right, bam. I'm just gonna show you something real quick. All right. All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna show you something real quick. Let me take this person's information out. Now I'm going to take this information out, remove the case. Bam. Let's do a replace real quick. We're going to replace this with Jane Doe. All right. Let's do this same thing. Copy with Jane Doe. And we got Williams here. And let's copy that. And we just gonna add Doe. Replace one. All right, bam. All right. Come on, man, replace that. Copy. Replace Williams. Doe. Replace. There we go. All right. So when you come over here, right? Come over here. Check this out. Oh. Entire screen. Here we go. All right. So boom. Now, here's a sample. Right? So here's a sample. So this was something that was just done. I obviously see it's November 21st, 2025. Situation here. Here's your defendant's proposed trial packet. So what you're going to have right here, you got your statement of the case, objections to plaintiff's proposed jury instructions, proposed jury instruction list, witness list, exhibit list. Now, this is just an introduction. But if you actually see right here how it starts off, how it always supposed to start off is the name erroneously sued as. Once you have an erroneous name, then that means who are you suing? Now, you have in pro per, which is impropria persona. You have sui juris submits this proposed trial packet in advance of the jury trial scheduled for November 21, 2025. In department such and such. This packet is submitted in good faith pursuant to California Rules of Court, Rule 3.1548, and Los Angeles Superior Court Local Trial Procedures for Limited Jurisdiction Civil Matters. Ms. Doe's submissions are intended to assist the court and jury in a fair and complete adjudication of the issues in this action, including lease interpretation, lawful tender of payment, that's another conversation, habitability, and retaliation. The following documents are included. You have proposed statement of the case, written objection to plaintiff's proposed jury instructions, proposed jury instruction list, proposed witness list, proposed exhibit list. Now, you get this together, you put it in front of them, they will make you a deal. They will make you a deal. Now, let me show you something else. I'm going to show you a pre-trial statement. No, not the pre-trial statement. It's actually a pre-trial. It's kind of like your opening. So let me, all right, let me come here and let me pull this jury, where is it at? Trial brief. That's what I want to say. Trial brief. All right, so boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we go. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me get this out of here. Boom. Let's get this out of here. I'm doing the replacements again, so you guys hold on a sec. Place all. All right. We get rid of the case number. All right. So look. Keep pushing that wrong button. All right, so look. The other thing is your trial brief, right? Once you put your trial brief together, that's pretty much going to be on the record along with the other things that we have, and has to be rebutted. The one thing that everybody should understand is that these people never come to trial. I mean, they don't even show up in court. They don't even make statements. It's the attorney making the statements all the time. So this is what you got to know. Just know that you are not competing against, right? Let me blow it up just a little bit. You are not competing against Archtone, Oakwood, Toluca Hills, LLC. You are competing against the attorney and the attorney firm. They're bringing the claim. They have bought the debt, and they are operating as debt collectors. Never forget that. Don't think it's anything else but that. You know why? Because they've already have done deceptive practices in consumer law. On top of that, they have monetized these things meaning these instruments that you sign, and they're making money off of it without even notifying you, and doing it as a liability to them, so that way they can either write it off or they don't even have to report it to the IRS. You see what I'm saying? Hold on a sec. So, yeah. What up with? So when you get that understanding or that knowing, then you'll be able to approach them a specific way. Now it says right here, defendant's trial brief. Now you see this is November 21st, 2025. This just happened. All right. And I just didn't make this up, as you can tell. Right. So it says defendant Jane Doe submit this trial brief in advance of trial in the above caption unlawful detainer action brought by such and such. This case is not about unpaid rent. It is about a pre-planned retaliatory eviction designed to remove a long-term tenant by manipulating accounting entries and abruptly changing renewal requirements. They have to rebut that. They got to say, no, that's not true. Not the attorney, but the rep, the owner, the manager, whoever is considered to be the owner in regards to that lease agreement. So they have to do that. Okay. That's number one. So it says for over 5 years, such payments, Plaintiff suddenly refused to renew unless defendant paid the balance in full, despite having renewed in 2024 under identical circumstances. Okay. When defendant lawfully tendered payment, plaintiff retained the funds, but proceeded to file this eviction anyway. Now, remember we talk about tender of payment. I'm not going backwards. We're going to go forward. Now, this was actually tendered in full. So, the evidence, right? Okay, you got two, factual background. Here's the whole background. We're not going to read everything, just so you guys get a good look. Legal issues and argument. Okay, you got case law in here. This is precedent. It's case law. B, defendant's tender of payment discharge. The allegations, California Civil Code, UCC, and Commercial Code. The COML is the California Commercial Code. Same thing, as they are uniform. Okay. C, plaintiff's conduct constitutes waiver and estoppel. All right, here's case law. Retaliatory and pretextual eviction. There's civil code. All this has to be rebutted. If they don't rebut all this like what Aton-Yah was saying, if they do not respond to this, soon as you get to trial, it's over. Breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing. All right, so there you go. Unfair and deceptive business practices. Equitable statutory relief. Where is it at? Did I not put that in there? All right. There we go. So it says equitable statutory relief. So we got 16 CFR 433.2. I'm going to show you what that is, and I want you guys to think about it. If you've written something, go look at your lease after I'm done. After I'm done doing this, go straight to your lease and look it up. You got UCC, you got the California Civil Code, you got Fair Credit Reporting Act. Why? Because they ran your credit. So if they run your credit, that means you're under a credit installment contract. If they run your credit, everything is based off of credit. So what they're doing falls under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Truth in Lending Act, because they're running your credit. And you should get a paper bill. You get a paper bill, you can actually see what's going on. But that's another conversation. You got Rosenthal Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. You got California Business and Professions Code. Okay, this is California. All these fall within the lease agreements. You're like, wait a minute, I thought I was just written something, paying and written. They're the landlord. They keep it fixed, keep everything in order. I pay my rent. We're good. Nope. That's a long time ago. No more. What they actually do is they turn that lease agreement. If you understand what a lease agreement is, they turn it into a security. The only difference is you got like 1 year leases, depending on where you're at. A lot of them don't even like to go past 1 year. And what a lot of them doing now, they're going month to month. Well, this is California. There's your conclusion right here. So the conclusion part I'll read. The totality of the evidence demonstrates that plaintiff's unlawful detainer action is retaliatory, pretextual, and contrary to law. Plaintiff refused renewal in bad faith, issued a defective notice, retained lawful tender, and proceeded with eviction to achieve a predetermined outcome. For these reasons, defendant respectfully requests that the court dismiss the unlawful detainer, confirm that defendant's tender payment discharged any alleged obligation, award defendant her costs and fees, grant such further relief as justice may require. All right. So once that's in, once trial starts, that is on the record. So let me show you 16 CFR 433.2. Right. This is called, it's called the FTC, that's the Fair Trade Commission holder rule. Right. Let's go here. Watch this. So this is the Electronic Code of Federal Regulations, which is CFR, Code of Federal Regulations. These regulations are enforced under the United States Code. You got 16 CFR, and you got USC on the other end, right? So these regulations are done by the federal, by the Treasury. Okay, they're done by the Treasury. Treasury puts these regulations out because they have to follow these regulations if they want to be funded. If they're caught violating any of these regulations, the executive branch, which is your Treasury and all that stuff, can actually pull the funds. So like Harvard getting their funds pulled, Department of Education, all this stuff, this is where they're allotting where their money is to go. If there's any violations that tend to weaken the trust of the people, they snatch their money. So right here, it says preservation of consumers' claims and defenses, unfair or deceptive acts or practices. So in here it says in connection with any sale or lease of goods or services to consumers. All right. Lease, sale or lease. Did you guys know that lease agreement, they're selling you something and you're buying it? And it is considered to be goods or services. What's the goods? The apartment. What are the services? We're going to keep the lights on. We're going to make sure the water's running. We're going to make sure the place is habitable. We have our maintenance crew. We have a manager. We have all these things in place. All this stuff falls under the housing and urban department. Fair housing, all that. See, but they turn it into a monopoly and they turn it into an investment, which brings back the indenture servitude, the indenture contracts, the peonage. They're putting you in a position of peon and running the whole gamut. You should have seen how these courts was functioning. Everything is on the table. All the records are there. But here come the judge. I mean, they had, if you should have seen this. You would think that it wasn't real. They have these attorneys that they pull, they pick, that they set up these contracts with. And most of them pretty much come from the DAs and they have their own little private practice over here they working with. And then what they do is they spend the whole day there running from courtroom to courtroom. And they got people sitting out there on a bench like they are managers of these apartment complexes. And they're not. The one dude that they had pulled in, this dude hair was toe up. This dude had high water pants on with white socks on that had no more elasticity in them. It was just sagging off his ankles like Michael Jackson used to have. You know what I'm saying? It's things just all just loose. I mean, the pants didn't fit. It's like they pulled him straight off the street and put some clothes on him. And we're like, wait a minute. Hey, we want to talk to him. You know, well, I'm telling the person that I was helping out, I said, tell this guy when he come back over here, stop talking to me. I want to talk to this manager. I need to know who he is. I mean, they got him over there on the phone like he talking to somebody, doing all this and all that. I said, boy, that's an act right there. I said, if that ain't nothing but an act, I ain't never saw one. Now, continue. So it says, in connection with any sale or lease of goods or services to consumers and or affecting commerce as commerce is defined in the Federal Trade Commission Act, it is an unfair, deceptive practice, deceptive act or practice within the meaning of Section 5 of that act for a seller directly or indirectly to A, take or receive a consumer credit contract which fails to contain the following provision and at least 10-point boldface type. Remember, if they run your credit, this is a consumer credit contract. Well, also it's considered to be a credit installment contract, to be called that as well. It's also called a retail sales installment contract. All right, so just make a note of that. Check that out. So it says, notice, any holder of this consumer credit contract is subject to all claims and defenses which the debtor could assert against the seller of goods or services obtained pursuant hereto or with the proceeds hereof. Recovery hereunder by the debtor shall not exceed amounts paid by the debtor hereunder. That's why I had that in there. It was hard. I had to really show where it made, like, how is this part of this? Because it's because they ran your credit. This is a consumer credit contract, and these are goods and services that they're providing you. So that falls under the consumer branch of it as well. So once it falls under those two categories, this has to be there. And they have to automatically have an arbitration clause in there as well. I think it's called arbitration. Yes, it's called arbitration, where they figure out a way to settle the matter. All right, so I just wanted to show you that. Now, this is, right? So this is the conclusion. The totality of evidence demonstrate that plaintiff's unlawful detainer action is retaliatory, pretextual, and contrary to law. Plaintiff refused renewal in bad faith, issued a defective notice, retained lawful tender, and proceeded with eviction to achieve a predetermined outcome. You know what the outcome was after this? Yeah, she won. You know, you get to a point where you want certain people just to at least get that, and that's a victory for them. I said, I'll go to trial. Don't matter. You already had a whole free year over there. So what does it matter? I'm like, I'm taking this to trial. You got to answer for that tender of payment. And they admitted to tender of payment to us outside, but inside, they didn't. I mean, we ran through about 4 or 5 attorneys. But they was jumping from door to door. And they had these people sitting there as if they actually work there. They actually paying these people to come in and say they are, and the courts are allowing that. This is what I'm saying. So it's insane what these people are doing. It's insane. I mean, but eventually we're going to have to stop taking stalemates and push it all the way through. You got to get paid. I said, well, let me just be surprised with everybody else. Let me see what Dane come after and say.
And out there sentences minorities here in Collin County. That means here in Collin.
King actually was a licensed attorney in Collin County several years ago.
His name was Christopher King.
On a certain project. But I'm Christopher King. My handle is KingCast online. I'm also a journalist, and I have a couple things for you briefly today. I have filed my request for all exhibits used at trial. We'll see how that turns out. I had mailed it in before with a self-addressed stamped envelope. Didn't get a response, so I figured I'd fly down here and file it in person this time. So as to this trial, what I see as an attorney, I saw what I believe to be malpractice. And I don't know why it happened, but I will tell you a couple.
Hey, hold on. You know, hey, when I get an opportunity to pat myself on the back, I'm going to pat myself on the back. Hey, look, didn't I tell you about that malpractice? Didn't we just talk about that the other day? Didn't we? One more. We were just talking about that. I just mentioned that yesterday and the day before. Not yesterday, last week. My bad. I'll give myself another round of applause. Why not? So now you know malpractice does not just pertain to doctors, right? Malpractice goes with anybody that might have some form of a degree, license, PhD, MD, JD, AD, the EDs to the BDs and the GDs and all them other people, right? So, yeah, malpractice here. I mean, I'm feeling a little bit better because that didn't start off right. I mean, I'm talking about my man with the 8-pack of hot dogs in his neck was really having troubles getting it off. He was having big problems. The sister did pretty good, but she was nervous. And let's see if this guy can clean it up. He started off good. Let's see. Chum. He started off good.
Couple of quick reference points. Number one, he allowed those students young people, non-professional people, to testify as to ultimate issues of fact, such as, was it murder or not? Yes. Was it provocation? Carmelo provoked him. That's not how it works. You have to make them elocute as to what Carmelo did to allegedly provoke a situation.
That's correct.
How it works. And when you don't object to it in the cases in chief, you cannot come back later post hoc and then ask the judge and complain about it.
So that means that the defense attorney was in on it.
There were also no expert witnesses produced.
Ding, 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 ding. Dang, what have you won? You sharp, brother. You sharp. There we go. So now we know the brother was being trolled a little bit, the little pushback going on the HOK, the House of Consciousness, but so we looking at the uniformity of different people, their perspectives, how they are presenting it from what they know. And it seemed like we're running it right down the line. You know what I'm saying? And we know Dane's doing a good job of being impartial. He's really honed in on it. Bow tie guy. Started off pretty good. Let's go.
No use of force expert. No jury. No jury professional consultant was there that I know of. Okay, so these are all very serious questions on this case, and I don't understand it, but I don't like it, and I think this is the proverbial travesty of justice that we have just witnessed here, and there needs to be an investigation. It's not right. It's just not right.
This professional 32.
My bad on the thing. Let's come on down, Chum. Look, listen. Hey, I was like, how do you think? We're getting now. I consider this to be some change here. I consider this to be change. When have you ever seen it being presented like this? We don't have Reverend Fried Chicken up there and his little chicken nuggets and his fries and his little side pieces. You know who those people are. We don't have the guy that come up with the big old head. You know what I'm saying? You know, he got a big old Olmec statue head, always looking to try to go civil with this instead of looking at the criminal. You know who that is. What's his name? Y'all know who his name is. We don't have that. We actually have people here that look common enough. And you can kind of tell the brother, allegedly, with the brim. You know what I'm saying? He probably wrote their script, say, hey, say it like this. Don't be nervous. Just go ahead. This is good. What you've seen, put it together. They was probably nervous. All right. So it's getting better. It's getting better for me. I was like, what the hell is this? But look, they're getting a little better. You know what I'm saying? So what I want to do is, a reason why I took it down is because I want to make sure I look at the chat, see if I'm missing anything. No, everybody here, no new people. Cool. All right, so let's get back to it. Let me clear my throat. I am going to get past this. I'm getting past this. I'm going to get that whatchamacallit off the screen. Bam, bam. We're going to listen to a little bit more of this. We want to get into the mortgage issue. And end it off from there. Where am I at? I'm at an hour 27. I'm doing pretty good, y'all. I'm doing pretty good. All right. So yeah, probably got another 5-10 minutes, depending. I want to see how they actually close this out. I want to see how they close it out. All right, here we go. Bam, there you go. Boom. Hold on. Let me make sure it's up. Absolutely it's not. There we go. Let's go. Boom. Boom.
Thank you for your now, and this is what I stated.
There needs to be an investment on this case, and I don't understand it, but I don't like it. And I think this is the proverbial travesty of justice that we have just witnessed here. And there needs to be an investigation. It's not right. It's just not right. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your. Are you close to the family? So I actually speak with them. And so what's next now? So what's now? And this is what I stated at the beginning. What's next now is definitely a fight for justice. It's definitely a fight. They are definitely ready to file an appeal, which an appeal has officially been filed today. They're ready to move forward with seeing Carmelo get justice and seeing him getting a fair trial.
Oh, okay. So this actually happened after the trial.
Collin County was a fair trial, and unfortunately, and I did attend some of the proceedings, and unfortunately, it does not appear to me that they received a fair trial, that Carmelo received a fair trial. So what's next for them is supporting their son, and we as advocates, we're going to continue to support Carmelo and support the family, and they're going to continue to fight for justice, and we'll be right there on the side of them.
And this is interesting because we didn't see this float around with no like major news media. They didn't pay attention to this part. And another thing was another video was sent to me. Shout out to the 13% community server as well. But remember their stories. It's fresh on your mind. And while it's fresh on your mind, I'm going to play a different video. This is the next video that I'm going to show you all that somebody sent to me.
All right, we ain't gonna do that. I think we pretty much got a good idea what was going on in that. That might be another segment. We might want to catch that second part of it tomorrow. But shout out to Dane. I did tag him, so he knows that I am playing this. Well, hopefully he do. If not, hey, it is what it is. All right. Now, what we're going to do here, we're going to come out of here, and we are going to, I'm going to just give this its own screen so I can actually look, read the chat. This right here, hold on, let me share it real quick. This right here is Sabby Sabs. This is Sabby Sabs. She just did an interview with two young sisters in New York. Now, you know, I've been pressing this issue on, mortgages, right? This was right in line with what I'm talking about. So I'm not acting as if I inspired this. I'm not doing it at all. I'm really not. What's going on, Leonard? But what I am going to do is this. You know what I'm saying? This is what I will do. Yeah, louder, man. That's what I'm gonna do. Now, when you guys hear, you're gonna say, "Oh yeah, he was saying that." Now you're gonna get it in real time, right? These two sisters, two women that actually spoke about what happened, what's been going on in New York, and just know that they're in New York, I'm in California, right? East to west. And this is not an East Coast, West Coast beef. You know what I'm saying? But it's an East Coast, West Coast beef of the same sort, pointed in a different direction, right? We're going that way. Yeah, we're going that way. So, without further ado, Sabby Sab and these young ladies. All right, let's get it in. I know that's corny, ain't it? It is. It's corny. Had to do it, though. Had to do it. Yeah, that's right, Leonard. Absolute kangaroo court. All right, I got a question finally. How you file an appeal before a motion for a new trial? How do you file an appeal before a motion for a new trial? Well, I think I've mentioned this. Hold on real quick. I think I mentioned this, but not, in detail. When there's a jury trial, you can actually dispute that. You can object to the jury trial, whatever ruling it was. Even after, look, before the trial, during the trial, and after the trial, you can seek what's it called? Show cause, based on the status of everything that was going on at that time. You know what I mean? What I mean by going on at that time is the players in the positions of the real parties, the injured parties, what positions they played, and be able to make sure that all the evidence has been put on the table. Not just all the evidence, but your exculpatory evidence, inculpatory evidence, as well as any charges as if they've been read and certified on the record. We're not talking about testimony not testimony. We're not talking about that. We're talking about any verified statements, Leonard, that the charges have been read and certified in the record. Now, what does that mean? What does read and certify on the record? Is that if I made a plea of not guilty, which is always the case, if I made a plea of not guilty before the charges was read and certified, and I was not informed of that, then I can actually rescind my plea and say, I'm rescinding my plea of not guilty, and I'm going to hold on to my plea until all these charges get read and certified into the record on a penalty of perjury. Meaning, all that has to come. These charges also have to be passed by law. They can't just be positive law. They have to be passed by law. People say, well, they already been passed on. Have they? Have you checked that some of these codes, and not really laws, but these codes that have been put in place, number one, aren't in contradiction or run contrary to the Constitution. Number two, the people actually voted on it and passed on it. And number three, if they didn't, how did it pass? Did it pass through administrative actions, through declaration or anything by the legislative branch? If so, then what are you bringing? See what I'm saying, Leonard? Hopefully that helped. But in a nutshell, that's how you can do it. But when you have attorneys like that are actually pirates, that are really not operating on your behalf, but really utilizing their powers that was given to them to turn you over to the complex, if I could say that, to that complex, then you're not getting that. This is why you got to make sure that you press ineffective counsel, and not just ineffective counsel because that's too proper. What you want to say is that this man or this woman, well, in this situation, this man right here did not have my best interest involved, and he did not present me in my proper light. And he did not fully disclose everything of my rights that need to be that I needed to know before we even get into this case. Even that attorney that's representing him, or what I like to use, because that is because representing is like a syntax. I'm presenting you. Representing is like I'm presenting you as something that you're not. You are Carmelo Anthony, but I'm going to represent you a different way, so that way I can give the court jurisdiction. Now, you just got to stretch your mind a little bit. Just stretch it out. What I'm saying, just take it as I give it. It's cool. Now, furthermore, if I'm being represented, then that means I was not presented in my proper light. So he did not have any intention to present me in my proper light, which, what the man with the bow tie said, is malpractice. And you did not, I repeat, you did not read me my rights. So if you don't read me my rights, if you don't read me my rights, my Miranda rights, my right to remain silent, my right to face my accuser, my rights that are constitutionally protected or protected by the Constitution, in which you have a fiduciary duty to do. You are that officer. You are that official. You are that employee. You are my servant. You do your job. Now, if that doesn't happen, there you go. So now we need to run all that back. We need to run all that back. And once we run it all back, then we got to bring it all the way back to the beginning. So that's how you get a new trial. Number one, we're getting out of that venue, that location. Number two, that judge, we're filing a judicial complaint against him. That attorney, we're filing a complaint against that attorney for a violation of their ethics or their canons. So yeah, not just that trial. I take it 2-3 steps more over than that. That is, we starting all the way back from the beginning. Rescission of plea. Now, none of these people are going to talk about that. They're going to stay within the confounds of the white lines of statutes, codes, procedure, and colorable law. Because what they don't know is that they're actually talking colorable. Now, they'll allow you to get away with that. They will allow you to do that. They say, okay, well, he didn't cover every single territory, and it's cool. I'll allow him to do that. But then there's a whole nother avenue that's taking place here. What is that? Securitization. investment. There's a lot of other things going to that, right? Yeah, you might want to talk to Chris about that if y'all know what Chris is. You ever met Chris? Guys should look into Chris. Interesting guy. All right. So, nevertheless, appreciate the question. Hopefully that helped a little bit. And you're right. That's what makes it a kangaroo court and a sham. You're absolutely correct. Now, let's get back to Savvy Sabs. Shout out to Savvy Sabs. I did tag her on there, fair use. But we got to listen to this. We're going to get into it. I mean, really, this is like about 25 minutes. Let's go to where they at? Okay, here they go. Boom. All right, so here you go right here.
Wait.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
You renovated your home without
All right, here we go.
Is deed theft.
So deed theft is
Lena, I want to start with you. If you could explain to people who had no idea about this, what exactly is deed theft?
so deed theft is when a person's home is taken by multiple means. So it is not a one-prong approach when it comes to deed theft. Deed theft can be defined as someone's home can be taken by way of you have satisfied your mortgage. You think that, I paid my mortgage, I'm free and clear, and then someone slaps a note on your home and says that you now owe this mortgage and they are foreclosing on you to take your property. In New York City, we have the city register. Because New York is a first notice state, someone can go onto the city register, create an account, and file a fraudulent deed. And now, because they are the first person on record without exchanging of any money, they are now effectively the owner of your home.
All right. Am I up? Yep. Okay, so look, remember what we was talking about. I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna play it back about 20 seconds.
Deed can be defined as someone's home can be taken by way of you have satisfied your mortgage. You think that, I paid my mortgage, I'm free and clear, and then someone slaps a note on your home and says that you now owe this mortgage and they are foreclosing on you to take your property. In New York City, we have the city register. Because New York is a first notice state, someone can go onto the city register, create an account, and file a fraudulent deed. And now, because they are the first person on record without exchanging of any money, they are now effectively the owner of your home. Deed theft also happens through partition sales. You inherit your property and you have, say, siblings or cousins or multiple people that are now the heirs to this property. Well, deed thieves can come in and say that they found an heir and buy a portion of, or buy their portion of the property, and now they are foreclosing on you for the entire property.
All right. So if you guys do not know, this is the issue with heirs property. Now I'm giving a quick side note. It's not a digression. It's a quick side note on that. So when you're dealing with heirs and things like that, this is how they've been able to do that. They'll find somebody, say they're heir. They'll sell their little portion out of that estate. The next year, they're foreclosing on the whole issue. And sometimes they use probate to do it as well.
And that is by way of partition. We also have guardianship. When someone becomes a ward of the state, your property can be taken because when you become a ward, the guardian can act as if they are you. And therefore.
Now, remember I talked about in rem proceedings against the thing. And it's like you're not there. They're acting as custodian. This is what they're doing every single day in court. When I say every day, this is what they're doing every day. When you come in there as a defendant and you do not challenge subject matter jurisdiction, personal jurisdiction, and you make a general appearance, they got you. And what they've done is they have taken that chattel, whatever you sign, even you saying state, when they say state your name for the record, they're telling you what to do. State your name for the record. They didn't say, would you please state your name for the record for me? Can you state your name? They're telling you state your name for the record. All right. And this is what she's talking. Now she's talking service. That's why I'm gonna stop this, because I want to do a deeper dive on it, translate it so it doesn't sound so over the top and confusing. Now, if you go back in history, this would be another thing, because we're gonna go at this again from another angle on another occasion, maybe tomorrow. Because this is what is dealing with the situations that have been going on with our people in the land here, and what, everything that's been going on, not just over the last 10 years, not over the last 5 years, not over the last 2 years, but the last 100+ years.
Or if there is some debt, which is the way it's supposed to occur, they can now liquidate all of your assets. And that means also your home. Mortgage fraud, by way of if deed rescue scam, say you owe a note, or you're having trouble with your home and you need like a loan modification. They can come in and say, hey, you need a loan modification, I'll help you. Or you want to do a short sale, and by acting as if they're helping you, these deed rescue scams, they effectively have you sign over your home to them, and they become the owner that way as well. So those are some of the ways, some of the many ways that deed theft occurs.
This is very scary. Rachel, I want to ask you, how is this not illegal? Like, how is this allowed to happen?
This is the question that we have, Sabi. And
now, this is the $1 million question. What Savvy just asked is the $1 million question. Actually, trillions. You see how much real estate? You get it?
it is extremely illegal. But in New York, we are having a huge.
Is it illegal or is it unlawful? There is a difference.
Problem. And this is why we call this, there's a crime syndicate. Am I saying that right, Evangeline? It's a crime syndicate. Like, it can't just be one person doing this. This is so multi-layered. We're talking about the courts are involved. NYPD is involved. The sheriff's department is involved.
Wow.
So many people are involved in order for this to work. We have a man named Sanford Soley. He's just one of many bad actors. He was an attorney, since been disbarred. He stole over, get this, Sabby, he stole over, well over 100 homes from Black and brown people in Brooklyn and Queens. And it was the Queens DA's office that brought charges against him, forcing the Brooklyn DA to file charges against him. With all these homes that he stole, found guilty, was sentenced to only 2 to 6 years in jail by a corrupt judge named Danny K. Chung. I can't understand how somebody steals this amount of money, right? Because it's now grand larceny. You stole over $100,000, well over that. And you only got 2 to 6 years in jail. And get this, he's out on bail. And when he did serve the 2 months in jail that he did serve, he was in PC, protective custody. If that's not a slap in our face, I don't know what else is. So it is completely illegal. It is happening in broad daylight. I say we're being robbed, not at gunpoint, but by people in black robes, the judges who are doing this to us. And when I say us, I'm talking about the black and brown people. Yes, I'm sure this is happening to other people, but right now, my primary concern as a victim of theft is the black people who are suffering from this, the generational loss, the generational wealth that's being extracted from our community, the harm, the displacement, the homelessness, the hopelessness, all of that's happening to people that look like me. It hurts. It's wrong. We're calling for, and we need to call for, a federal investigation because we're not getting help from anybody at this level that should be helping us. And when I'm talking about people like the AG, Letitia James, and Stephanie Zimmerman, who are very unhappy with me right now because they were at a meeting. Talk about.
That's how it goes. That's what takes place. You see? So this is in New York. I'm in California. That's 2 out of 50 states. All right, let's get back to it. Hold on, my bad. I got to get rid of that commercial. Let me get rid of that commercial. Shoot, be quiet.
In this operation. And the reason why we say that is that between 2023 and 2026, the Attorney General now has well over 1,000 cases that are in her office. She has, as of last year, only looked into 2. And one of those cases is a person named Joseph McConaughey, who was indicted by her office on more than one occasion. They have failed to be able to prosecute him to this point, and we're concerned at the level of care that they are putting into these cases, because when you go and look at who they hired, a wealth management attorney against Trump's machine, who's representing Joseph McConaughey, we're concerned. We're calling for the Attorney General to do her job. It is not okay to fight Trump, but abandon your own state.
Now, bingo. You see, these people are going after a president about something and neglecting the people they're supposed to be presenting in their proper light and defending. They're not doing it. That's the same thing over here with Rob Bonta, the Attorney General out here in California. He's getting these things and he's ignoring them. Well, why is that? Who are you going to prosecute? Yourself? Because you're in on it. The only thing they're missing is the eminent domain. If you're saying that the judges and everybody else is involved in it, then that means the county's involved in it. That means the city's involved with it. Not just these people. It is actually the whole entire system. The whole New York system. Because where does the funding come from? It's federally funded. So where is it coming from? It's coming from the government. And as it coming from the government, it's being passed down to the state. The state is funding these people. They're supposed to be having some of these programs together. They're supposed to be having all of the protections in place. But these people are operating from some other type of oath that they've taken. It's not the oath to protect the people. It's the oath to protect their interests. And these people are getting paid to do this. And there's no checks and balances on that. Nobody's going to do anything to them. But if the people rise up and do something to them, what is the officers going to do? What is the lieutenant governor going to do? What is these people's approach to the people saying, hey, enough. You guys out of here. Do your job or you guys are out of here. So let's get back to it.
And effectively Black people. And so she's become a cause celeb because of her going after Donald Trump. But somebody somewhere needs to investigate why she has failed to do and to prosecute at the highest level. She's the top cop in New York State. It gets no higher than her. If she doesn't do something, effectively other agencies and other bodies can sort of stand down. And so as people are actively reporting, there are no investigations. And so we're calling for something to be done about the Attorney General. This past Sunday, her and Stephanie Zimmerman advertised that there would be a rally. And we were concerned about them coming into the 56th Assembly District, which is Bedford.
All right, let's get past that.
Stuyvesant, stolen here, and using this. They have thought and some things said to our stand up for that goes on. The ones that are armless. We have no guns. We have general. We want her to do so. If the sheriff can be removed, well, right over here, right up the block, the governor's office is not too far gone from this either, as they are missing the mark on this as well. Kathleen Benjamin, who worked focused on and putting even for these folks who we're going to deal with, of a deal to the Court of Claims. While it has to be do anything, this Miss Kathleen Benjamin, who we're going to deal with, right? We're going to deal with her because this is what she also did in the middle of an investigation that was leading to the indictment of a deed thief that I won't say his name because this still has to be investigated. They appointed the lead investigator to the Court of Claims. While we're in the midst, dead smack in the midst of one of the biggest deed theft investigations to ever hit New York City and state. And they did it on purpose. I'm a leader. I'm someone who leads. I understand catch and kill. If you want to kill something, you go after who is the person in charge. You neutralize them and move them out of the way, effectively disarming them and rendering our fight useless. Now we have to go back to the drawing board, find prosecutors, investigators who are willing to do this type of work. Everybody's not willing to step up. We're going against big real estate interests.
Let me chime in here for just a second. I think what you said is very important about standing up to Donald Trump, but not standing up to, basically big money interests and corruption in your own state. We have a similar situation here in Massachusetts, in the Boston area. Mayor Wu, who is very well known for standing up to Donald Trump and speaking out against him, also is complicit in the erasure and removal of Black people in Boston right now as we speak. So it's not necessarily here deed theft, but there are things that are happening right now with the takeover of White Stadium, displacing people out of Roxbury, eminent domain, allowing these investors to come in and buy entire.
There you go. See, Savvy said it. Eminent domain. Like, think about that. Eminent domain.
buildings that families have lived in their entire lives and just taking it from them and further displacing. And primarily here, it's affecting Black communities. And this is part of the reason why you don't see as many Black people in Boston. They have been displaced. They've been pushed out because of these types of policies. So I think it is very important what you mentioned there, how people may see Letitia James as this champion against Donald Trump and going after him. But where is that same type of energy when it comes to protecting people from losing their homes in her own city? So I'm so glad that you're calling this out. And Rachel, you're correct. I want to go to you in just a second. It is primarily like Black communities are being displaced. They're being pushed further and further out of these cities, and cities like New York and Boston, they are making these cities a place for the rich. It's the rich playground, and they keep building these luxury apartments and luxury condos. But meanwhile, this is theft. They are stealing homes from people, and there's nothing being done about it. So Rachel, I want to ask you about this. Has anybody raised this issue with Mayor Mondami? I know he's new, but is he aware of what's going on here?
Oh, he's well aware. When he was a candidate, and I went to City Hall at another rally that they were having. And this is the thing that they also do, Savvy. Everyone wants to come in and pretend they're going to champion deed theft. I remember back then, the borough president, Reynoso, was asking for $5 million to help fight deed theft. And when they want money for flyers, for this, for that, for things that have already been done. And they were on the steps of of the City Hall, and I was there, and I was like, give us back our deeds. No one is doing anything to help us actually get back our deeds. But every office wants money to fight deed theft. And it's the same playbook. Everyone wants money, and they're going to pretend to help people, but the monies they get, before it could trickle down to real people like me, like Carmela Sharrington, like the Shireen Robinson family, or anyone else who's fighting deed theft, the money has been spent in salaries and other things. Because when Reynoso came to Medgar Evers, my alma mater, I believe Evangeline graduated from Medgar Evers as well. They had a meeting at Medgar Evers, and Reynoso, the borough president, came and said how he saw so much money being wasted on Halloween parties, and that's why he was asking for $5 million, and he was going to fight deed theft. But never say how. Everyone's been talking about this, and they created an office in the DA's office.
You see what I'm saying? It's like they like to throw this at us. Like everybody needs a champion. Like we need a champion. We need somebody to save us. We need the good shepherd to come around. Man, get out of here. This is simple common sense. Simple. I mean, this girl, Rachel, is like knocked it out the park. Man, give us our D's back. You already know what y'all doing. Give us our D's back. We're aware of what's going on. We found out the hook. Give us our D's back. Fix this. But you guys got to understand, like, what's actually going on. You guys got to understand what's going on here. This is not as simple as some rogue people just out here just doing something and, you know, like some cats off the street or whatever, or people like to say a little small hat or something. No, man, this is constructed. Like, this is built. And if you guys fail to get the knowing on that, man, you're going to be lost. Never be able to figure out how to get the solution, how to make it, how to turn it around and make it happen in a better situation where we can win. They're robots. Easy. You see them coming around the corner. I want to get up to a certain point. What I'm going to do is I want to get to this point where she talked about something specific. I don't want to listen. I want to do the whole thing. I want to be done with this. So let's do a quick break on this. Let me mute me. Let me play a little elevator music. And let me find the exact place where I want to get to. All right, I found it. Let's get to it. This is where I want to get to, right here. About to put a link in the chat. Anybody want to come up? Come on up. I'm going to finish this out, so just be patient. If you're in the back, we'll leave you back there till we get done. I'm going to put the, let's get over here to the, let me pin it to the top. Let me pin it to the top, pin message. All right, here we go. Boom. All right, let's get to it. All right, so we were at 1937. There we go.
Transfer it to someone and say that they sold it, right? And now you are fighting to get something back when the law says that you can't. Now, there are laws on the book that says when in Martin v. George Street case, that to watch or to catch what they're doing, they're in real estate. They send it to Greenberg and Truitt, purchaser, to get your home back. When that was not,
but it doesn't come back to the community, and we don't get back our property.
Laws have been changed, but what has happened is the Attorney General again allowed for something to be put in the law that says when someone has stolen your deed and you effectively win, well, the deed thief can just pass it on to someone else and be called what is called a bona fide purchaser. And then you're left fighting the bona fide purchaser to get your home back, when that was not the original bill that went forth.
Now, the bona fide purchaser, let me do this real quick. I'm gonna pull this up right now, but I'm not gonna show it. But just remember this term, bona fide purchaser. Because when you get the bona fide purchaser, this is what you get in these trustees' deeds upon sale. In these trustees' deeds upon sale, they actually said that it was a bona fide purchase and it was bought with lawful money. They actually utilized that. In non-judicial foreclosure cases, non-judicial foreclosure states like California, they always say that on these trustees' deed upon sale. They say that this appointed trustee that was appointed not by the trustor or the owner of the land, and the mortgage, the one that has the mortgage, which is that individual that they're, let's say like that sister on the bottom with the glasses. They're actually saying that trustees deed upon sale, that the sale was done under the deed of trust by her, by the trustee, which is that attorney, that attorney firm, or those attorneys that create companies, those companies that be buying these debts that they're talking about. And then they say that they actually sold the house on behalf of that owner through the deed of trust. But then they call it a bona fide sale, a bona fide purchase, bought with lawful money. But nobody was at the sale. What money? What is lawful money?
There is a law firm called Greenberg and Truick. Whenever real estate interests or anything is happening around real estate, they send it to Greenberg and Truick, who lobby the Assembly, the Senate, the governor, the Attorney General. And then what they do is whatever their corrections are, whatever they omit, if there's no one there to watch or to catch what they're doing, they will effectively kill and water down the bill to where it's so weak that it's rendered ineffective. And so with the new laws that they have created, they do not really help. Because like in the case of Sanford Sony stole all of these properties. One of the women in our coalition, her and her husband, Patrice Sourdogo and Wendy Sourdogo, they are fighting now to get their deed back from the bona fide purchaser, right? So what they did when they knew they're going to be caught, they sell it real quick, or they transfer it to someone and say that they sold it, right? And now you are fighting to get something back when the law says that you can't. Now, there are laws on the book that says when in Martin v. George Street case, where it says that where there is forgery, the deed can be returned. However, those are not the laws that they're using. They're using the new laws, this bona fide purchaser law to carry this on. But I also wanted to, you asked about Mayor Mamdani. So I wanted to really clarify that. The mayor of New York City, we've been through multiple mayors. This is the first mayor to implement the Office of Deed Theft Prevention. As Rachel told you, we met him on the steps of City Hall. We were advocating. Rachel explained to him what deed theft was. He went, made it a part of his platform. And a few months into office, we now have the Office of Deed Theft Prevention.
Used against you on Sunday is because of all the trauma and the drama that my family is going through. And that I would hope that you would use your office to do your job, Letitia. You helped Jacqueline Knight and Joseph Clark. Help me too. Help Kamala Sharrington too. To say that when her problem, we had a real bad incident at Kamala's house at 212 Jefferson not too long ago, where they tried to evict Carmela out of her home. And like Evangeline was talking about earlier, we had a rapid response and we were there. We were boots on the ground in front of her house. And that made the difference. They locked Carmela Sharrington up for 6 days on Rikers Island. She was incarcerated for 6 days. I can't even.
Locked her up. Locked her up on her own land.
Wrap my mind around that. 6 days in jail. And if we were not there, if the coalition was not present, that's when they use the opportunity to throw your things out, put it in storage, and take over possession of your home. This is what they normally do. But because we were there, we safeguarded her home while she was in jail, while she was falsely incarcerated. We safeguarded her home and we prevented this from happening. This is what they've done to many, many women in our coalition. 130 Green Avenue, Ms. Vira. Disgusting. She's having heart surgery sometime this month. The stress, the agita that this causes on the body is ridiculous. I can't find the words to tell you how traumatizing this is. It's horrible.
So what's going on, Nadia? Now, let me show this real quick. Make sure my screen is sharing. It is. Now, look down here. This is a trustee's deed upon sale. Right? So when you come down here, this is what it says. It says, said property was sold by said trustee at public auction, the place named in the notice of sale, which does not exist. There is no notice of sale. In the county of Sacramento, California, in which the property is situated, the foreclosing beneficiary, being the highest bidder at such sale, became the purchaser, not bona fide. They left that out. Of said property and paid therefore to said trustee the amount being such and such in lawful money of the United States, or by the satisfaction pro tanto of the obligations then secured by said deed of trust, and instructed said trustee to vest this trustee's deed upon sale to said grantee. Now we go to the prior. And this right here, the grantee herein is the foreclosing beneficiary. The amount paid by the grantee at the trustee's sale was said properties in the city of Sacramento, county of Sacramento, in all caps. This as trustee, whereas so designated in the deed of trust, hereunder more particularly described or as duly appointed trustee. See, the ambiguity does hereby grant and convey to herein called grantee, but without covenant or warranty. So what we're going to do is we're going to look up covenant, warranty, which they don't have. Okay. Now, we're actually going to look at the without covenant or warranty, expressed or implied. All right, title, and interest conveyed to and now held by it as trustee under the deed of trust in and to the property situated. So wait a minute. You are the trustee under the deed of trust. How? Your name is not on it. How did you become trustee? And then it says this conveyance, right, is made in compliance with the term and provisions of the deed of trust, executed, da 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 da. So when we come back down here, we see the foreclosing beneficiary being the highest bidder at such sale. Well, they weren't there. They bidded on nothing. Became the purchaser of said property and paid therefore to said trustee the amount in lawful money. How'd you do that and you wasn't there? Or by the satisfaction pro tanto. So we're going to look that up as well. Of the obligations then secured by said deed of trust and instructed said trustee to vest this trustee's deed upon sale to said grantee. So that means that that company that is blotted out, who so-called bought it in lawful money, instructed is the one that appointed this company to be trustee to turn the property over to them in any way possible and execute this transfer. Now, if you guys was not here then, let's go down here. Now, this is the declaration page for the notice of default and election of sale under deed of trust, which they mentioned here in this area right here under this blue thing. So it performed all duties required by the deed of trust, including sending a notice of default and election of sale within 30 days. All right, so this right here is the last page of, my bad. This is the last page, the declaration page of that notice of default and election sale under deed of trust. And this is the declaration. Now, in the bottom of this, it says this: no contact was made with the borrower pursuant to California Civil Code 2923.55 because the above reference loan is not secured by a first lien mortgage or deed of trust. So if that's the case, what are they saying here? It says that this was done, that is vested in the trustee designated in the deed of trust right here. It says under authority and powers vested in the trustee designated in the deed of trust. But right here, it's also saying, or as the duly appointed trustee, default having occurred under deed of trust pursuant to the notice of breach and election sale under the deed of trust. So they're executing this based off this notice of default that was supposed to be sent within 30 days. So they're saying the power is within this notice of default. So they're saying there was a default. But there was a default on this so-called mortgage. So if we go back to page 11, not mean to jump back and forth, but just roll with me here. If we go here and we say, and we see here that no contact was made because the above referenced loan is not secured by a first lien mortgage or deed of trust that secures a loan or that encumbers real property. That encumbers real property described in California Civil Code 2924.15. So, in a nutshell, if there's no loan that is secured by a first lien mortgage or a deed of trust that secures the loan, What are you foreclosing on? And how are you able to create a trustee's deed upon sale that you can actually record in the Sacramento County Recorder's Office or any other recording office in any county, changing title? How is that happening? All right. So I'm going to pull this up. Now, you got anything you want to chime in on while I pull this up?
No, just listening.
All right. So what we have right here, boom, boom, boom. Let's get over here to the education part of it. Let's go to the law dictionary. Yep. Let's go to the law dictionary. I know. Damn it. You're going back there again. Yeah. I'm going back there again. We're going to start in alphabetical order. We're going to go to covenant. We're going to go to covenant. TUV. All right. All right. So let's go to covenant. Dang, it's a lot here. All right. So right here, let's just start with the basic intro. The name of a covenant practice. A name of a common law form of action. Ex contractu, which lies for the recovery of damages for breach of a covenant or contract under seal. So we come back here to number six. And let's go back to the first page. It says what here? It says that this trustee that came out of nowhere, that's not a part of the deed of trust, does hereby grant and convey to such and such, herein called grantee, does hereby grant and convey, and I'm going to leave out all the twos and herein's and all that stuff. So here we go. Does hereby grant and convey to me without covenant or warranty. What is covenant? It means a common law form of action. So it's not in common law. So this action is not being done in common law, which lies for the recovery of damages for a breach of covenant. So we know that it's not common law what they're doing. Also, we know that this covenant, because it's without covenant, it's not under seal. So they're admitting the fact that there is no contract between the parties. This is being done some other way. That's why they call it non-judicial foreclosure states. All right. So in the law of contracts, agreement, convention, or promise of two or more parties. So also what is this saying? It is saying that if it's without covenant, that there's no more than one party. It's unilateral, what they would consider to be unilateral. There's one signature. There's only one obligor, one real party in interest in this, and it's not them. It is actually the name that's actually about to lose their land, lose their home, their property, and everything on top of that, their life's work and their life's blood and everything else that went on in a matter of a snap. Okay, so let's go a little bit further. Let's see what else we can find on this. I think that should be enough. Okay, express or implied, right? Let's go back over here. It says right here, but without covenant or warranty, express or implied. Let's see what that means. Express or implied, the former being those which are created by the express words, so it's without that, of the parties to the deed declaratory of their intention, meaning the deed of trust, absent. while implied covenants are those which are inferred by the law from certain words in a deed which imply them. So it is without covenant or warranty, express or implied. So it's neither. So what do we have here? Rhetorical, please. Let me continue. Express covenants are also called covenants in deed. Remember, they're mentioned in the deed of trust in this thing. This is a deed, deed, multiple times being named deed, as distinguished from covenants in law. Let's see what's going on. Covenants are dependent where performance. All right, let's see this one. Covenants are dependent where performance by one party is conditioned on and subject to performance by the other. And in such case, the party who seeks performance must show performance or a tender or readiness to perform on his part. But covenants are independent when actual performance of one is not dependent on another. Okay. So here we go. Covenants are dependent. I'm going to read this again. Covenants are dependent where performance by one party is conditioned on and subject to performance by the other. It does not exist. It is without covenant. So none of this, no performance, no strict performance, none of that stuff is actually being enforced. Well, let me say it this way, can be enforced by these definitions of what they're saying right there. Now, that is 512. 512. Now let's go to warranty so we can put these together. All right. All right, so warranty. Here we go. Warranty, a promise that a proposition of fact is true. So if it's without warranty, there's no promise that a proposition of fact is true. So all what they're filing right there, all of that can be removed. But when you put in an affidavit of a deed fraud, or you put an affidavit of fraudulent conveyance, the county recorder won't file it. We don't file affidavits here. We don't file those type of affidavits here. Now let's go to real property law. Let's see what that says. Real property law, warranty, a real covenant by the grantor of lands. Well. For himself and his heirs to warrant and defend the title and possession of the estate granted to the grantee and his heirs, whereby either upon voucher or judgment in the writ of warrantia, chartse, and the eviction of the grantee by paramount title, the grantor was bound to recompense with other lands of equal value. See covenant. So that also means that this so-called beneficiary really isn't a beneficiary. This is somebody that's coming in saying, using the beneficiary language, using all these different terms and languages as a notice or a as a light bulb to whoever is recording these documents. Oh, that's what we're doing. Oh, this is a foreclosure. This is non-judicial foreclosure. We need to get this filed. But at no point in time, they're even looking at the other aspects of these non-judicial foreclosure documents, knowing that these instruments are unsecured. They're saying that, yeah, there is a debt that needs to be paid. And you know why? But it's not secured. Because you know why? Because it says on the last page, such and such may be considered a debt collector attempting to collect a debt. And we know that the debt has now been bought by a debt buyer, then hiring a debt collection agency, usually a law firm, and here we go. Because we already know for a fact that it said in this declaration that this loan is not secured. This mortgage is not secured. They're not even calling it a loan. They're not even calling it a mortgage. They're calling it a loan. All of these instruments, see, this is writ of prohibition all day long. These instruments right here are in strict conflict with the Constitution. Because I just read you these definitions. That is instruments. These are instruments that have nothing to do with the land, because all they're talking about is what? Property. You'll never see land on these documents. Now let's go over here to pro tanto. I'm gonna go over here to pro tanto. Be in here. Be here. There it is. You're here. For as much as may be, as far as it goes. What? So if they saying right here, the foreclosed bidder being the highest bidder at such sale became the purchaser of said property and paid therefore to said trustee the amount being in lawful money of the United States or by the satisfaction pro tanto. So pro tanto, for so much of the obligations then secured by said deed of trust, but it says in the notice of, it says that it's not secured by a deed of trust. So that's a lie. An instructor said, and so pro tanto, as for as much as may be. So for as much as may be. That sounds so romantic. Is you is, or is you ain't, my baby. How about that? So for as much as be of the obligations, as it may, forthwith, and thou'st, and thou'st. Got it? Now, let's go to vest. I got two more, Nadi. Got two more. Let's go to vest. I'm showing you where these words is at, where they make sense at. These things can be knocked out in 2 seconds. On top of that, never show up, never consent, because that's all they want you to do. Once they do that, it's a wrap. Like my boy Chill says, it's a rap-a-thon. It's a rap-a-thizzle. All right. Now, let's go to vest. We ain't talking about a 3-piece suit vest either. We talking about vest. There it is. To give an immediate fixed right of present or future enjoyment. Vest. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? All right. Okay, here we go. So this conveyance is made in compliance with the terms and provisions of the deed of trust executed, and the provisions of the deeds of trust executed, which is not secured, which the loan is not secured by. So this conveyance is made in compliance with terms and provisions of the deed of trust executed, and the official records in the office of the recorder of Sacramento, California, under authority and powers vested in the trustee. Vest, to give an immediate fixed right of present or future enjoyment. Wait a minute. Enjoyment? To accrue to be fixed, to take effect. Vested, fixed, accrued, settled, absolute. Having the character of giving, having the character or giving the rights of absolute ownership. Wait a minute. So this trustee owns it? See, trust relationship. This is, they're doing all this stuff under a resulting trust. This is not getting off that, but this is what's going on here. So this trustee, this foreclosure trustee, this substituted trustee that actually took place from the beneficiary, this so-called beneficiary, this bona fide purchaser, this beneficiary appointed this trustee, this substituted trustee to actually do something and step in as owner. And the beneficiary aspect of it is saying that this company, whoever it is, who is now considered to be that bona fide purchaser in lawful money, has benefited through that trustee in order to do it based on what they consider to be a deed of trust that was created by the trustor, which is that natural person that dealt with this situation. So it says having the character or giving the rights of absolute ownership, not contingent, not subject to be defeated by a condition precedent. So they're the owner. So why are they taking this to a unlawful detainer court? Because they always do that. Every case, and we could go to the Carmelo Anthony case. The situation is what the sister talking about in New York. What I'm talking about right now. It's always in the wrong jurisdiction. It's never in the right jurisdiction because everything is always within the United States based off trust. And it's always based off the Uniform Trust Code because that's the way they set it up. Why? They cannot set it up as a contract as we just read because they don't provide any consideration. The house is not theirs. It's being sold by somebody else. The money is not theirs. They get it from somewhere else. All they're doing is servicing the thing, brokering a deal at best. All right. And that ends the presentation. Where are we at? 2 hours and 52 minutes. Not bad, not bad, not bad. You know, we minus about 30. You know, we take out the streams, the music in the beginning. I would say I got done in that was about 2 hours. That was about 2 hours. Yep. So, and I'm about to go check too. About to check. I've been not practicing, but I want to make sure that I don't, I get things kind of, within a period of time. Where'd it go? Boom. Nope. All right. Now, let's go back here. All right, so let's go here. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so that was about 2.5 hours. About 2.5. Because I jumped in and showed a couple things. So when I come in and I jump in, that's when the time starts. So about 2.5 hours. That wasn't bad. Outside of the pauses and all that other stuff. So yeah, not bad, not bad, not bad. Yeah. But yeah, hopefully that helped. We're trying to get some clarity on some of these issues that we have. But yeah, shout out to Savvy Sab, shout out Dane Calloway, for allowing me to utilize their content. Thought it was very interesting. So yeah, so outside of that, yeah, man. So yeah, man. I don't know. I really ain't got nothing else to say. I really don't. Now, let me see what the chat. Well, yeah. Yeah, I was wondering what Chief Creek was talking about. Yeah, he said, what are y'all doing? That haven't been done. Oh, shoot. I almost forgot this one. This was cold. This was probably one of the realest things I saw when this guy was talking about Carmelo Anthony. Let me play this. I almost forgot. Dang. Let me play this. This was interesting. Check this out. Check this out. Make sure.
It's a racist ass picture. I spent a lot of time incarcerated. There's two things I've never seen. I've never seen somebody get convicted, sentenced, and sent to state prison in the same day. I've never seen it. You know what else I've never seen? I've never seen a sleeveless half-zip prison blouse. Why they got this man wearing this, man?
Nah, you there? Nah, you there, bro? Oh, man.
Yeah.
Hey, did you hear that? Let me play it again. Check this.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Did you ever see this? Hey, I know I haven't.
This racist ass picture. I spent a lot of time incarcerated. There's two things I've never seen. I've never seen somebody get convicted, sentenced, and sent to state prison in the same day. I've never seen it. You know what else I've never seen? I've never seen a sleeveless half-zip prison blouse. Why they got this man wearing this, man? I know this is not prison issue. I worked at PIA, Prison Industry Authority. We made the clothes for a lot of prisons. I've never seen nothing like this. This is intentional humiliation. They want him to look like a slave. Look at it in black and white. Come on, man. This is intentional. Y'all some devils, man. So can we talk about this?
I mean, I hate to laugh, but he was like, man, I've been to prison so many times. There ain't nothing I ain't never. So when I saw that picture, I was like, what the hell they got going on here? I said, and they cut his lock so fast. Like, they just ran him through the line. Like, what's happening here? Is this guy? Man, this is starting to become theater to me, man. It's starting to become theater. Man, if this dude don't stop calling me. That was funny. That was actually funny. I don't even know what to say. That was funny. But yeah, they definitely had the whole look. This is starting to become theater. You know what I'm saying? They got the, you see that? Oh yeah, you sent me that picture. They got Carmelo in that vest.
Oh yeah.
Got him in that vest.
Looking like no slave.
I'm like, that's not. Look, the brother's like, that's not prison issue. No, man. This is becoming theater. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. Shoot. Hey, man, I ain't got nothing else to say. Now you got anything to say? If not, man, we can get out of here. I'm glad I say that for last.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing to say, bro.
All right. Did I reach a 5 yet? I
You
think
did.
Once I get to 90 minutes, when I get to my 90 minutes, it's gonna get there. But hey, talk to me real quick. Now, I know your stand. Before you go, let me ask you this question. Because you can answer it honestly and give it some texture, if I can use that word. Now, based on what I just showed, let me pull it back up. Let me go ahead and pull it back up. All right. So based on, okay, we looked at them definitions, right? We looked at them definitions. You know, we looked at these definitions in Black's Law. But based on these the definitions and what I actually showed, right? So, my bad. Let me go to page 11. Now, I got this. The only way I know about this because I had a mortgage auditor show me. Now, this sister's so bad, she didn't even do it like other people do it through their whole little computer. She did this by hand. Can't show you the audit, but she did the audit by hand. Like, meaning she did her own research. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say by hand. She did it in her own research. She did it straight forward. And I never heard her explain it that way. I mean, she broke every sentence down. Now, eventually, I'm going to show it, but I got to make sure I redact it. It's like 200 something pages. So I think I could do the first 25 pages and, you know what I'm saying, show that part. Because the other thing is like pictures. And I mean, she got like SEC whole breakdowns and all this type of stuff. So, but, and this is a notice of default election. I took the other pages out because this was the most important part. So as we look here, let me share my whole screen because that's I'm glad I just thought about it because I forgot to show the codes. Right. So under this declaration, okay, on 2923.55, let's go look up that real quick. Let's go look up 2923. Right. So Cal code 2923.55. All right. All right. So 2923.55, it says C, right? I think it says C. Yeah, C. So when we come down to C, I ain't forgot my question. A notice of default recorded pursuant to section 2924. So now we are going to go over here to Article 1. Going to jump over here. Then we're going to come to 2924. All right, so we're going to start there. 2920, every transfer of an interest in property other than in trust made only as a security, made only as a security for the performance of another act, is to be deemed a mortgage, except when in the case of personal property, it is accompanied by actual change of possession, in which case it is to be deemed a pledge. Hence why they use the word property. All right. You with me, Nutty?
Yeah.
All right. So the language. So in the second sentence, the performance of another act is deemed to be a mortgage, except when in the case of personal property, it is accompanied by actual change of possession, in which case it is deemed a pledge. All right, so mental note. So make a mental note of that. So right here, well, let me not get ahead of myself. But right here, they're actually saying that in this notice, in the trustee's deed upon sale, that it's not a mortgage. They're calling it property. All right. Now, so it says pursuant to section 2924 until all of the following. So it says a mortgage servicer, mortgagee, trustee, beneficiary, or authorized agent shall not record a notice of default pursuant to section 2924 till all of the following. The mortgage servicer has satisfied the requirements of paragraph 1 of subdivision B, either 30 days after initial contact. And remember, they mentioned this in that trustee's deed upon sale. This is the only thing that they mentioned. The mortgage servicer complies, it says, until all of the following, not one. The mortgage servicer complies with subdivision C of section 2923.6 if the borrower has provided a complete application as defined in subdivision H of section 2923.6. I'll say that for another day. But that language is not in there. B1, as specified in subdivision A, the mortgage, what did it say? Subdivision B. A mortgage servicer shall send the following information in writing to the borrower. All right, so when we come down here, right, so this is a declaration of mortgage servicer pursuant to Civil Code 2923.55. But this mortgage servicer is the company that is the foreclosure trustee. So you saying you're servicing the loan? That's another conversation. I'm just throwing that out there so you guys can think about that. So it says also a statement that if the borrower is a service member, a statement that the borrower may request for the following: a mortgage service shall contact the borrower in person or telephone. Mortgage service shall notify, notice of default, record that mortgage service loss. Borrower may designate the consent, notice of default may be da 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 da. Now, right here, it says 2924.15. So 2924.15. So let's come back to 2924. Let's hit the back button. Let's go to 2924.15. What does it say? Unless otherwise provided, paragraph 5 of subdivision A of section 2924 and sections 2923.5.55, 6, 7, 24, 9, 24.10, 11, and 18 shall apply only to a first lien mortgage or deed of trust that is secured by owner-occupied residential real property containing no more than 4 dwelling units. How then are they able to file a trustee's deed upon sale and remove the owner from record? Just something to think about. That wasn't my question. Here's my question. What is the protocol that's being sidestepped, right, by the recorder's office, by the land records, deed records, wherever it is in any state? What is the protocol that's being sidestepped for them to allow this to be filed based on the fact that these non-judicial foreclosure documents, instruments, are on record? How are they allowing that to be continued to be filed and people taking their land? It's my question.
How they can do what again?
How are they allowing this? How are they able to sidestep? What's going on? None in the chat. How are they able to sidestep these laws, right? This law, and record a deed, a trustee's deed upon sale, right? And that is considered to be a corporate deed in California. That's what they call it. They call it a trustee's deed upon sale. But that is considered to be a corporate deed, a transfer or a conveyance based on some agreement that was done in foreclosure. When actually these codes that they actually admitted to in the notice of default in their other documents that I haven't shown, saying that it's not even the collateral and the loan or the mortgage is not even secured. Well, the land or the property is not even secured by a first lien mortgage or a deed of trust. How are they able to sidestep these things? What is taking place here?
They don't fall under those codes, bro.
Okay. They don't fall under those codes.
They fall up under administrative, not constitutional or USD.
Got you. Yep. Now, glad you said that. So, if it's done administratively, that means it can be rescinded administratively, correct?
No, we rescinded it arbitrarily or denied or granted arbitrarily.
Okay. So if we say, go ahead.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay, so I'm going up here to arbitrarily. But okay, so because this is why, I don't know if you heard, but this is why, when you try to put an affidavit in the county recorder's office here in California, they won't file it. They won't file no affidavit, but 2 or 3 different ones. And that's dealing with probates type stuff, affidavit of death and other type of affidavits. But any other type of affidavit, they will not record it. In California. See, this is hence non-judicial foreclosure state, because that non-judicial foreclosure state is administratively, arbitrarily, well, I would say arbitrary and capricious in nature. So everything is done in that form of fashion. That's why I'm glad you brought up arbitrarily as well. You see what I'm saying? So in order to do that, it has to be done in the same manner. You have to rescind in the same manner. Now, what was done that I heard about, I didn't do it, but I heard about it, is that somebody put in the affidavit of fraudulent deed and affidavit of rescission. Affidavit and a notice, switch them up. Affidavit here, well, shit, how about I make it a notice? They was like, nope. Said, okay. You guys said, okay. Well, here's what I'm going to do then. If you're not going to take that, okay, we're operating administratively, so how about I file a what? A 3. You know what I mean by a 3?
File a 3.
Yeah, I'm going to file a 3, and I'm leaving out the other letters in front of it. You understand?
Oh yeah.
How about I file a 3 and check that box? Terminate. Let's see how that goes.
for instructions?
No. As a administrative counter, administrative rescission. Check it out. The collateral box, right? Damn, I just told. That box, right? Where you could put extra information in there.
Mhm.
You can actually, this what was told, this is what was shared to me. I seen it. You would actually put in codes, case law, reference to collateral as it may be. The initial filing number, right? The top box is the actual file, is actually the recorded number that they use in them instruments, the non-judicial foreclosure instruments. Right at the bottom, they ask who is the authorizing party. It can either be a secured party or it can actually be the debtor. Then you have your addendum page. You have additional parties. And anybody that's on them documents, bloop, bloop, mark them down. You take that in there. You make sure you reference everything that needs to be referenced. It goes in. Bam, it gets stamped. I said, I saw the rejection notices from the other stuff, the affidavits and their notices. Rejected, 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 rejected. We don't file those. Doesn't it? And in the rejection notices, they're saying we have no law or no code or anything that requires us to file these. Now, just prior to that, the individual told me they went up to the county assessors, asked them, can I file an affidavit? They said, of course you can. I said, well, why aren't they filing it? Why aren't they recording it? Is it dealing with real property? Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's what he said. They said, well, I don't know. But they should file it. They would. But when they did it that way, it got in. See what I'm saying? That thing got in. Now, one of the foundational things on that termination, being that you're doing a 3, is 9, Article 9, right? Article 9, and you got 210 with it, right? You got the 210 bus going down the street. You actually connect those together. That's what you have. No, my bad. I said 921. No. 9-513. 9-513. And in that 9-513, that tells you your right to rescind, terminate, so on and so forth. Then it falls within that. You have other case law, you got other things that's going on, so on and so forth. You put that in there. That then becomes your claim on why it's getting done. Once it gets recorded, you then serve them with that. They have 30 days to rebut that, and they won't. Administrative procedures. Beautiful thing, my brother. Beautiful thing. But hey, that's what was told to me. Now, this is California now. All states, they don't do that. Especially if it's a judicial foreclosure state. Because in the judicial foreclosure state, you have to go to church. I'm looking at I'm looking at Get Back, Firekeeper. I'm looking at his thing. He got church up in there. But yeah, you have to go to court. You know this. You have to go to court to get that ruling before you can do any type of foreclosure. So that's judicial foreclosure state. But yeah, it functions. It functions well. I mean, it's like, but California dirty. We talk about these other states. Shit, man, these guys are dirty out here. I mean, you know, California, New York, same thing. But yeah.
Yeah, it's all corrupt.
Yeah, but nah, you was right on point with that though. Yeah, the arbitrary, administrative, arbitrarily done, capricious. You say, okay, well, if that's the case, I'm gonna put this in. Shit, dude was like, yeah, I did that. It's good work. But what I'm seeing now is that shit. If you already know it ain't the right jurisdiction, don't even show up.
Nah, you still got to show up or contest that showing up, some form of writing, so the claim won't stand. You got to rebut the claim.
But yeah, I get that. I get that. Yep, I get that. But in certain situations, if you know that shit is faulty on its face, return the sender. Don't even open that shit. If it ain't criminal, like what do you consider to be criminal, like, you know, that type of shit. And even then, you know, if it ain't, you know, somebody losing a life or someone on that type of level, man, return to sender. Come get me. And let's talk about it. You know. So it's like you rebutting a claim. I mean, if you're talking about a claim from who to what, you know what I'm saying? Nah. You got to prove that's me. And it better be a verified statement. Who are you talking about? What's going on? I mean, that's the old standby. I don't know what you're talking about. You know, and especially when you're dealing with, I mean, in these situations dealing with property, because the one sister that had the hat on, she had said in that thing, she was like, make sure you don't pay off, make sure you don't satisfy your mortgage. I was like, why would you say that? Why would you not satisfy your mortgage if you can satisfy the mortgage? You see what I'm saying? That's what it makes sense to me. But yeah. Quickly, just want to share that with you. Well, but yeah, hey, if you ain't nothing but, you know, we were just up here chilling, chopping it up. If ain't nobody coming up here, man, we gonna shut it down, man. Hey, it's Monday. You know we be bullshitting on Monday. We got to get warmed up here. We got to get warmed up here. We got to get warmed up here. But at the end of the day, you know, none probably rolling on the streets. Everybody in motion. But yeah, outside of that, we are going to end it off with what we need to end it off with. And from there, be back tomorrow. And as you know, when this song ends, it's over. It's over.
All right, big dog, tomorrow.
All right, my brother. Easy. All right, my brother, be easy now.
Yeah.
All right, so where we at, y'all? The bango. Boop, 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 boop. History. Man, there we go. Boom. Boom. Shit. All right, y'all. It's been great. Peace, everybody. Isness, what's going on, sister? What's going on? Peace, everybody coming up here. Isness, Tone. Hope they pray. Hope they prepared. Better known as Get Back. Richie Rich. And who was the... Hold on. Let me get this up here real quick. Boom. 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 Hold on. Let's get that done. All right. Let me shout everybody out. Somebody gotta help me with this dang on Instagram thing. None. Appreciate you being there, brother. Chief Creek, appreciate you. King Chameleon, Jay Branch, 707. Leonard Peel, 7522. Copper Draco, Paleoso, Richie Rich, Rod Will, Mama Love, 863. Heartfelt Center, 213 in the house. Vertical Grove, also known as Root Word. All right. Yeah, that's right. Got you up there. Get back. And we'll leave that up here for this to end him off with. All right, on the next one.
We want freedom by any means necessary.
Yeah.
We want justice by any means necessary. We want equality by any means necessary. We don't feel that in 1964, living in a country that is supposedly based upon freedom and supposedly the leader of the free world, we don't think that we could have to sit around and wait for
Let's go. All of your assets, you have to protect it. Just set your trust up, come get your status corrected. Yeah, you know we moving more than mountains. Fuck your school, fuck your voting system, fuck your water fountains. Melanin, I know you heard of me. You can never murder me. I want that gold you owe me now and gold from 1933. I want y'all to stand on all the treaties that you sold to me. Cause we was already here, y'all came on a boat to me. And know this God-given land we all holding feet. Simple, absolute gratitude, your majesty. I am not in my straw man, you not controlling me. Certified, signed, sealed, stamped by the notary. Don't try to lie to my face like you ain't just a colonist who tricked us with contracts, but you fail to acknowledge it. And history books of fertilizer, one big pile of shit. Acting like you freed us from slavery, but ain't abolished it. The plantation just got renovated. Driver's license and passports are the new slave papers. How they foreclosing on the ones they gave acres. We allowed them entry, even trusted them as neighbors. They took everything from us and made us ask for favors, and posed as the only helping hand that's there to save us. Boycott, don't try to keep up with the fad, cause the money that we save, the properties that we rehab. Monopoly with the fad. Tears don't fall from my eyes, cause they see our what, but they don't see our why. You was born in June, but I only seen July. Influenced by bad spirits like a DUI. You ain't do no estate planning, but you think you fly. Now we gon' need 3 fish fries to see you die. We the revolt, boy, don't play with me. The time is now, this royalty over slavery.
I'm the coach, quotes coded in O for the ghost loaded focus. Chrome in the coat, king with the cloak, smoking that hocus pocus. Infinite styles, pivot and pile up the mileage. I'm wild with the science. You see the line on my avatar, iron jaw pride. I to devour the silence. Why you niggas steady lying? Got me laughing hard, satire and fraud. I fire the squad. Wise get crossed when I'm sparring with all the guards. Author of art, carving a mark in the bark of the market at large. Target the sharks, heart of a Spartan. I sharpen the margin with bars. You rather bargain and dodge. I'd rather you come get your taxes done. Black suit, back room, facts in a stack. I'm relaxing the maximum. Get out of the pocket, the profit of rocket. Then I just might tax you punks. Bracket your funds, subtracting in chunks. Reacting to acid, you're begging to punch. Sometimes my community hard-headed, scarred, dreading the lessons. I chart head and start spreading the message, embedded in pressure. Sovereign living, I'm private with it. No corporate percentage. Discharging debt with a pen stroke. You still don't notice the vision. I've been telling y'all you don't want to debate me. Weighty and ready. Great with machetes, linguistically shredding the petty. Grab these 15 acres. Landscape major, plan made paper. Land patent stamped and sacred since my campaign greater. I ain't talking about Ice-T when I say that I can show you law and order. Court recorder, I sort the torture, contort the border. I eat the case, beat the state, leave a trace in a raw supporter. Briefcase aura, got your baby mama thinking that I'm a lawyer. Seminole Indian sentiment, militant on Samba and Sawyer. Private enrollment, tribal component. I'm the boss if you're trying to employ it.
Clutch, baby. Infinite.